This is 1340, The Game.
Carl Albert, Midwest City, and Dell City. When high school football is talked about in the state of Oklahoma, it usually doesn't take long for the Titans, Bombers, and Eagles to be mentioned among the very best. A happy Saturday good morning as we welcome you to the Middale High School football wrap-up on your high school sports Saturday morning leader, 1340 The Game. Every show in this special 13-week series is made possible by Physical Therapy Central, providing sideline help and beyond for Middale sports. By the Hudeberg Auto Group, a Middale athletics friend for decades. And by Rose State College, the next step for you after your Middale experience. Now to find out what happened under those Friday night lights, let's join your hosts, Middale Athletic Director Andy Collier, PC Athletic Director Dick Balancifin, and longtime Hall of Fame sportscaster John Brooks.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It's the final non-district week. It is in the books, and as we go to the Middale football wrap-up for the fourth time this season, I'm back live.
The world traveler.
I'm live in the country. Nice to be back. Right off the bat, want to say thank you to my longtime friend, David Garrett, former voice of the Saints, former voice of the Dallas Cowboys. Came in and did the show last week, this show and the show that follows, the Metro PC Report. And I think David did a great job, got all the good reports from him and from you guys. Hey, Andy, before we get started, we need to give a quick salute to a true legend in the football coaching ranks in Oklahoma. 48 years he was a head coach, Jim Dixon at Sulphur. He died, I guess, earlier this week. They canceled their game last night with a Texas opponent, but they actually practiced during the game. So, or during the week,
right.
They practiced anyway. But Jim Dixon, Hall of Famer, a number of coaches Hall of Fame. A great article in the Oklahoman, and on our second show today, we're going to visit with Nick Sardis a little bit about it, but. The new prep writer joining James Jackson and Nick Sardis at the Oklahoman is Hallie Hart, and she did a great feature yesterday that actually was first page, second page in the Oklahoman. Salute to Jim Dixon. So certainly a legend. You spent 48 years. It's incredible. And when you think about it, 48 years at the same school.
In this profession, if you can make it 48 years without either getting run out or burnt out, it's pretty special. We lost two. You know, obviously Coach Dixon and then Coach White, former Douglas coach. So this week has been tough in the coaching community.
Yep, it sure has. All right, let's go to the scoreboard and get some reactions. First of all, they're separated. Now, they're separated normally on the show, but they're separated today because to my left is Andy and to my right is my other partner, Dick Balancifin. And they squared off last night. Midwest City 38, Putnam City North 6. We'll go with the loser quickly because there won't be much to say.
Not much to say except we had a big dose of D'Angelo Irvin, the outstanding quarterback for Midwest City, 4-year starter. He just dominated the game. He ran for touchdowns, had 2 excellent passes for touchdowns, and he's just really tough to handle. When he's on his game, Midwest City is really tough.
And he was our guest last week. After
the one I missed.
Yes, after a defeat of Del City 41-0. So they had a great week of practice, really focused in, got better, put some things in, and D'Angelo was awesome once again. You know, he committed Thursday to Air Force to play quarterback. So it's a big week for him.
He did.
Yes.
That's good.
Well, Andy is a great guy and a hard worker and does a lot for kids. We're in a conference together and does great things, but I have to question him and give him a hard time about this. He told me they didn't have any linemen, and they had 3 linemen that played really well last night.
Did you think I was going to tell you the truth?
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. I know how he is. Andy's going to fit. When we play, he'll give me great scouting reports until it comes time for us to play, and then he hides. But his linemen were really good, too. Number 56, 65, and the big offensive tackle, the right tackle is huge. He looks like he weighs 325, and he played well.
He's a big kid. He's actually the nephew of Mike Dunn, our Carl Albert coach. So
he played well.
Darrell got a good one there.
You get a lot of intermingling within the Middale district, right? I mean,
yeah.
Here you were at Midwest City in your great high school career. You got a little Carl Albert type. But by the way, we have some live people in the audience here.
I had to bring my live guest. I got my brother with me, and then my son, who actually goes to Carl Albert and plays in that system.
And his name?
Anderson Collier.
Anderson, yeah. He's asleep, but he's
a little early for
Anderson. It's a little early for Anderson on a Saturday, but he's there, and he's watching the show. We have another guest. He's going to join us here after our first break, and that is injured Carl Albert quarterback Reed DeQuazy, who, by the way, and I pronounced it right when I was doing it, his uncle played for the Sooners back when I was the voice. Yeah.
And all his uncles and dad played at Midwest City. So you talk about that intermix.
Ooh,
now,
yeah. Okay, and now we got a Carl Albert guy. Wow. Man, I bet family reunions are fun.
It's difficult for all of us.
I bet it is, yeah. All right. Apparently it wasn't difficult for Carl Albert. They win 45-2. We have some explanations to make because they have now played 4 consecutive games, and they're the only team in the state, I believe, to have played 4 consecutive games because they have an open date on the back end of their schedule.
They do.
Last week of the season. Explain what happened.
Well, Guyman went independent, and so therefore there was one less team. And, of course, Midwest City and Del City went down, so there was going to be one district with a fewer number of teams, and just so happens to be Carl Albert's district. So they had to pick up an extra non-district game to get to 10 games, which, they played 4 good teams, and it helps them out on the back end, like you said, with the bye week going into the playoffs.
All right. I want to ask you this because obviously – Dick can relate to this. Putnam City North off to an 0-3 start, but district play starts. From the standpoint of an athletic director and as a coach for both of you, because it happens every year, if a team sweeps in the non-district and they're 3-0 and they're getting ready to go into district, they're going to get a completely, totally different message from the coach on Monday after non-district play is finished. If you get 0-3, you're going to get a completely different message from the coach, right? So what are the messages? Well, you're 3-0 or you're 2-1. You had a good non-district play. Now it's time for district. What do you say?
Well, I think for us, we've always taken the approach when it comes to non-district is it's important to get better each week. You don't necessarily implement everything because district games is what matters. So you hold a little bit back. But the most important thing for us is that third non-district game, or for Carl Albert, the 4th one, is winning so you can carry momentum into district play.
On the other side, Dick, say North 0-3.
On the other side, if you're Coach Lane at Putnam City North, what you're going to look at the guys and you're going to tell them, hey, we've learned some things during the pre-district games. We are going to start the season over. The pre-season, the first 3 games, do not have any impact on playoff positioning or even if you make the playoffs. So it's kind of an opportunity to start the season over. Very similar in basketball. You have the regular season and then everybody goes to regionals. And everybody's 0-0. Lose game 1, you're out. District football play gives them a chance. And, I'm not going to make any grave predictions, but I really think, and I bet you if Andy put true serum in him, he would say that he thinks Putnam City North is going to win some district games. Look at their schedule.
I definitely believe that.
And so
so you did have truth serum.
And at the other, on the other side of that, a Midwest City team that's 1-2, looking at their district games, they could rattle off the rest of their games and win them all. So they started off slow, but it's going to finish strong.
I shot Andy a text last night on the way home, and I said,
was that the one with the white flag?
No, yeah, it was a white flag. No, I did that during the game, John. Well, the text was really simple. I said, Midwest City's going to win a lot of their district games. Mark it down. I can see them winning 5 or 6 pretty easily. I looked at the opponents that they're playing. And
that's why you schedule tough games early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we go to the scoreboard here because I need some reaction?
Let's do it.
All right, so let's go to the 6A scoreboard. Norman's number 10, Stillwater's number 1, and in 6A 2. And let me make sure I got this right. And Norman's number 10 in 6A 1. Stillwater wins 36-33. Squeaker, were you surprised or did you expect that?
This is a perfect opportunity for Coach Bernard at Stillwater. You're the best team in 6A2 right now. You probably had a little bit of a letdown, or what we say as coaches in the coaching world, you probably read your press clippings. So you get a win.
Well, they had some coasting.
Yes,
during the non-district.
And so you get a win, but you get a win that was kind of ugly. So you can kind of tell your kids you almost treat it as a loss going into district play.
All right, here's the upset. UConn have really been struggling, and Norman North is. I'm looking at the Oklahoman standings. Number 7, Norman North, number 7 in 6A1, and they get beat by UConn 28-23. Are you surprised at that?
No, because UConn plays an offense, a flexbone offense. So to get ready for something like that, playing assignment football, it's you can't really practice it. So they're gonna play people close every week.
Almost every year they pull that off.
Yes,
but boys, hey, they got bombed twice in the non-district play. So they didn't play people close every week. Okay, they're 1-2 and they got bombed twice. So I'm calling this a little bit more than you guys are.
It is a very
it's an upset.
Right.
You go back, Brooksy, to calling OU football games when you run the option football.
Is anybody alive? Well, yeah, your brother's alive.
It is very difficult to prepare for teams that play that style of offense.
That's right.
Takes you away from your system.
Let's see. I think I heard that 1 or 2 times, maybe, during the 80s. Yeah, just a couple of times I heard that. Okay. Guthrie 24-20 at Tuttle. Now, I know Tuttle is not quite as good as they were last year, and obviously defensively they were an absolute staggering Goliath last year, but they lose 24-20.
And this is,
I think it was at home too. Yeah,
it was at home. This is big for Carl Albert seeing Guthrie. Tuttle's a well-coached team. They're always good, tradition-rich. Guthrie was down most of the game and came back and showed some heart in the fourth quarter. So looks like Guthrie's going to be pretty good again.
Mustang at home, number 5 in the Oklahomans 6A1 poll. They played Springdale, Arkansas Harbor, the same team that Bixby beat 65-0, I believe, if I remember right. Final was 41-13. I mean, they handled them well, but again, when you hear that score, I'm not huge on score comparisons, but you hear that score and you think what Bixby did to this team and everything, you just realize what a challenge I think everybody has in 6A1.
Yeah, I think they're probably the best. Well, they are the best team in class, once again.
Can I run some other scores in the Metro?
Yep.
And then we'll get down to business. Bridge Creek 20, Western Heights 6. This is 4A scores. Heritage Hall just blast my alma mater. My alma mater and PC North, they're identical on the scoreboard right now. Zipping 3, 43-0 over John Marshall. Christian Heritage, Del City 42, Mount St. Mary's 21, Douglas 28, Oklahoma City Patriots 7. Newcastle 34-12 over Woodward. Harrah loses Seminole 22-14. Capitol Hill and Star Spencer. Star Spencer wins 44-22. Millwood played an out-of-state school, Scott City, Missouri. They win 30-20. And on Thursday night, Enid 34-17 on the road at Edmond North. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we get a chance. We don't, very few times do we have a chance really to get a injured player who is really a big part of a program on the show, but you're going to provide that with us. Who do we have coming up?
Reed DeQuazy. He's a senior, was a quarterback last year, plays weak safety as well. A good kid, and I think you're going to enjoy the interview.
All right, good. We'll take a quick time out. We're back in a moment. This is the Mid-Del Football Wrap-Up.
Ready to get back in the game? Great news. The movement experts at Physical Therapy Central can help you find relief and results to keep you off the sidelines. With over 30 convenient locations across Oklahoma City and beyond. Contact PT Central today at ptcentral.org to see a physical therapist. Physical Therapy Central, a proud sponsor of Mid-Del Athletics and trusted choice for keeping athletes and fans in the game.
Get the vehicle you're looking for and make it your own at Oklahoma's own Hudeberg. It's easy to shop for a new Chevy truck or SUV at Hudeberg Chevy, where we say, don't settle. If we don't have what you want in stock today, we'll order it on the spot. All with quick delivery and amazing incentives, like 0% financing. Shop HudebergGM.com today.
You can count on Hudeberg. We'll
give you more. Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Welcome back. We are live, Middale football wrap-up, and joining us, Andy Collier, quarterback Reed DeQuazy. Now, quarterback safety.
Yes.
You start things off because he was here. Now, he has shown me the x-rays from his injury to left shoulder. I have decided not to make any comments on it, okay, because I couldn't understand anything I was looking at, all right?
Well, I can tell you a little bit about it. You know, Reed was a kid last year that played quarterback for us, took us to the state semifinals, came back, had a great offseason, great summer, great early on in fall camp. Week 0 against Coweta on the 5th play after driving us down the field, I think on about a 25-yard run, he just falls on the shoulder wrong. It's a perfect break, if there's such thing. They put it together good. Dr. Knudsen, one of our team doctors, and he's going to be able to be back here in a couple weeks.
All right, tell us about it. What happened on the play?
I was running a counter, and so I pulled the ball, and I was running to the sidelines, and there's a defender coming, so I cut back inside, and I kind of stumbled when I got back out, and then I just got tripped up, and I just kind of buried my shoulder in the ground.
When you hit, did you know you were in trouble?
Not really. I didn't feel it crack or anything, but then I kind of stood up. But you know, kind of in like football, how you get bumps and dings and stuff, and it's kind of sore. And then I started raising my arm, and it popped, and it just dropped. That was kind of when I knew.
Now, is it your left?
It was my left.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You just raised your right arm.
But yeah.
He can't raise that left yet.
Because you can't raise the left. Right.
Sir.
So your right arm was stepping in for the left, right? So you tried to raise it. You couldn't.
Yes,
You're
sir.
right-handed, though, right?
I am.
But you couldn't keep playing.
I could not. I had to go to the sidelines, and I talked to our team doctor, and I had to go get an x-ray.
Yeah. Obviously you're very competitive. I just wonder if the thought was in your mind because it was your left shoulder and you're walking over the sideline and by now you know it's probably bad.
Yeah.
In your mind, was there ever the thought, well, I wonder if I could talk him into still playing because I'm right-handed? Seriously.
At first, I kind of had that thought, and then after it popped, I ended up reaching under my shoulder pad, and I could feel the bone.
Oh, you could.
Yeah, and I was like,
So what's the diagnosis? How long?
So 3 to 4 weeks, I should be back for all the main games. McGinnis, Piedmont, and Guthrie.
You should be back for the final 3
Yes,
on
sir.
Carl Albert's schedule.
Yes, sir.
Right.
And going into playoffs.
Yeah, this is the team, by the way, Andy, that played 4 non-district games.
You told me you know the math.
Right.
You did the math.
I did pretty good, didn't I? I think you told me off the air that there are some people talking with you about playing beyond.
Yes, sir. I am currently talking to UCO right now, and ECU is both offering me
Good.
to play football.
Now, you're taking your time. You're going to take some more trips, everything, right?
Yes, sir. I'm
Right.
trying to find the best
You're
home.
looking at this OBU logo because I'm in uniform, guys, because as you know, not only is 1340 a.m. the high school football wrap-up guru on Saturday mornings with this show and the Metro PC show that follows, but it's also the flagship station for the 8 stations on the Oklahoma Baptist University Network. So OBU will be on tonight, 5:30 pregame. Right. Maybe I should.
There's your recruiting pitch.
Maybe I should have you come over and say, how many rules have I violated there?
Hey, I didn't hear anything.
I didn't. Yeah. Well, we have at least 2 people in the audience now. One of them's asleep, Anderson. But other than that, we do have some people. All right. So from the sidelines now, if you return, you're quarterback and safety.
Sir.
What do you think your coaches are going to say? What's the quarterback situation now? I mean, things are going fairly well.
Yes.
Would you come back, and if you're well, come back as a starting quarterback, or would you play only at safety, or would you play both, or do they wanting to play both?
And I can answer this because Reed can too. I sound like Mac Brown there. In all honesty, going into the season, Reed knew he was going to play both ways. And so we were going to play 2 quarterbacks. How much you don't know until you get in the game. So really we're going to be back to square one when this happens. And they both bring something to the table that's different. That's going to be very confusing for defenses. Correct?
I agree with you.
So the other quarterback is?
Cash Ferris.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What does he bring that you don't, and vice versa?
He has a really strong arm. He's a very good baseball player, and he's very accurate. So he brings a lot of throwing dynamics to the team. And I'm more of like a running quarterback, you could say, like a dual threat. And it kind of helps just diverse it out so they can't really load the box or do stuff.
Oh,
Smart kid.
Yeah.
Sounds like a quarterback.
So there is a mixture there.
That gives Coach Dunn a lot of options.
That's
the way
right.
I see it, and he's a really good coach in my eyes, and that'll make it where he can put you both in the game at different times and then play you at safety if that's whatever's best for the team. So
And I will say this, over the last, and of course they're 2-2. I can tell you against Muskogee, if Reed is playing defense against Muskogee, it's probably a 14-point difference, just because of how athletic and good he is. Quarterback, obviously he threw for 2,000 yards and ran for close to 1,000 last year. But defensively, what he brings to the table as well with his athleticism, physicality, that's a 2-point, and brain. That's a 2 touchdown difference.
Yeah, exactly. If you've just joined us, we are in the middle of the Middale football wrap-up. We join you here on 1340 a.m. The Game every Saturday morning from 8:30 to 9. And injured Carl Albert quarterback Reed DeQuacy is with us here in studio. And Reed, when you hear these guys talking about you and everything, do you agree that you make that much difference?
I do. I believe understanding the game is one of the most important details. And I feel like a lot of kids don't truly understand in high school, or they don't want to. They're just playing for their friends. I feel like that's kind of been a problem with us. Just kind of getting people to mature this year. That's going to be a big problem for us.
Leadership's important.
It is.
On defense, Reed, do you kind of, as safety, are you out there helping making sure guys are lined up correctly, depending whether you guys are playing zone, man, and linebackers and stuff? Because if you get lined up incorrectly, sometimes you're beat before the play.
Yes,
Huge
sir.
problem.
I always say the safeties are the quarterbacks of the defense. So I believe that they are the ones that are in charge of making sure everything's right.
And so you're barking to the guys.
Yes, sir.
Go this way, that way, yelling at them before the play starts.
Yes, sir.
Are you the main barker on
I'm not.
defense?
Tayshawn does most of the barking.
No, and who does most?
Tayshawn James.
Okay, Tayshawn does. Okay.
Tayshawn's one of our top 30.
I know. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he actually had a 97-yard kickoff return last night to start the game.
He did?
Yes. He's an Iowa State commit.
And you know what? It's a way. How do you like this segue? And Tayshawn will be joining us right here on the Middale wrap-up on October 8th as one of the Oklahoman Super 30 players.
That's right.
Coming up next week will be Jaden Foreman, Dale City defensive lineman, number 11 on the list. Then on October 8th, Tayshawn, who is number 8. And on October 29th,
Kenigel Thomas.
Kenigel Thomas, defensive back. He's number 22.
And he's going to K-State.
Yep. And he's going to K-State. So you got Thomas going to K-State. You have Tashawn going to
Iowa State. And then Jaden going to Oklahoma State.
And Oklahoma State. Yeah. So if you were not a state university, you had no chance with your 3 Super 30 guys from Middale. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So I wonder if that has an effect with recruiting. The only state schools. What do you think? The only state schools come in to recruit Middale. I mean, it looks like it here after seeing this, right?
No, Middale has plenty of good athletes. There's a lot more than just state schools recruiting them.
Okay, fine, good. Yes, it was just part of my attempt at humor. Okay. Reed, we thank you. Appreciate you. I was extremely impressed, Andy, and I'll embarrass him here before we take final break, and I'll get a couple of comments from you before we leave. When he said what he said a minute ago, I hope some of his teammates who might be listening, because I'm sure there are plenty of people, and you can also hear this show each week.
Yeah,
if you miss it.
We will post it on our website, on my athletic website at mid-dale.net.
There you go. One more time,
mid-dale.net.
You can actually hear this show. So if you got here in the middle of it, you hear it. But Senor DeQuasi here made what I thought was a deal that said, hey, you know what? Maybe we're not taking things as meaningful as we should, some of the players on your team, right?
Sir.
Yeah.
And I think that's what what football's all about.
Yeah.
But as you have seen just talking to Reed, Reed wants to win.
Yeah.
And that's the number one goal in high school athletics or anything you do. And that is what Reed brings to the table, is that attitude of winning, and that's the most important part. And so no matter what it is, he's going to play everywhere. So
thank you. Appreciate you on,
Thank
Reed.
y'all for having me.
Yeah, we'll take a quick break, back to wrap things up, and Andy gets a chance to do some predictions when we return.
In the old days in these parts of Oklahoma, there was cattle rustling. Someone would take your cattle off your property, brand it as their own, sell them, and keep the cash for themselves. Now there is a good thing, car and truck rustling, and it's happening here and now in Wellston, Oklahoma, only at Hudeberg Ford. Hudeberg Ford will park your used car or truck in our pasture, sell it for you, and you keep the cash. X marks the spot at the Hudeberg Ford brand, where I-44 meets Old Route 66 in Wellston, Oklahoma. Or click HudebergFord.com and start building your Ford your way today.
Ready to get back in the game? Great news. The movement experts at Physical Therapy Central can help you find relief and results to keep you off the sidelines. With over 30 convenient locations across Oklahoma City and beyond. Contact PT Central today at ptcentral.org to see a physical therapist. Physical Therapy Central, a proud sponsor of Mid-Del Athletics and trusted choice for keeping athletes and fans in the game.
John Brooks along with Mid-Del Athletic Director Andy Collier. Dick Balancefin will join me on the Metro PC show coming up next. After this show, we wrap things up, and Andy, you get a chance here at a little bit of a, if you will, prediction. Each district race involving Mid-Del. Del City was idle. Let's just go with Del City ranked number 2 in 5A at 3-0.
I think Del City's the best team in the state, and I really feel like it's down to them and McAllister for that district, and I will tell you, I think Del City will pull it out.
Carl Albert, 6th in the poll of the Oklahoman, beginning the week, now 2-2. What about the Titans?
I think that's probably the toughest district in the state. In that class, it'll come down to Carl Albert, McGinnis, and Guthrie, and it's just going to be three tough teams.
So you got Carl Albert, McGinnis, and Guthrie. That one will go to the final week.
Yeah, sure. Last year those games were overtime games.
Yeah. And the last week will decide that district.
Yes.
With that one's without question. All right. Midwest City, 1-2.
Midwest City, I think it's going to come down probably to Midwest City and possibly Lawton Mac. And I like Midwest City's chances. As long as D'Angelo Irvin stays healthy and they continue to improve and tackle, I think that Midwest City has a chance to win that district.
Who do you have? Let's just get one more preview. Jaden Foreman is coming on our show next week. He's one of the 3 players from the Oklahoma Super 30, the Greater Metro, that are actually from Mid-Del.
Jaden is a defensive end commit from to Oklahoma State, has played for 3 years, and this year they've utilized him a lot at tight end as well. And so he's dominant. He's a point guard on the basketball team at that size. So he is by far one of the top athletes in the state, in the whole area. If you joined us late and you hear the music, so it's showtime, but we'll very quickly give you Midwest City last night, 38-6 over Putnam City North, and Carl Albert, 45-2 over Elk City, and Del City was idle last week. That's going to do it. Stay tuned. After a 1-minute Fox Sports update, 1340 The Game presents the Metro PC Football Review. For Andy Collier and for Dick Balancefin, I'm John Brooks. We'll join you next week right here on 1340 The Game.
Join us again next Saturday at 8:30 right here on 1340 The Game for the Mid-Del High School Football Wrap-Up presented by Physical Therapy Central. Looking out for all Mid-Del athletes. By the Hudeberg Auto Group, a longtime friend to Mid-Del Athletics. and by Rose State College, the next step after your Mid-Del experience.
Your flagship station for Oklahoma City Dodgers baseball. 1340 The Game and 1340thegame.com. KGHM Midwest City.